The Russians have concentrated about 11,000 soldiers to encircle the Pokrovsk agglomeration. Some of the occupiers are trying to advance to the north and northwest of the city, but Ukrainian defenders are holding their positions. This was reported by the 7th Corps of the Air Assault Forces. So, what is happening in Pokrovsk right now? Special TSN correspondent Yulia Kyrienko will tell us more.
Pull if you have the reel. Thank you so much, God.
This is how Russian drones hunt even civilian cars in Donetsk region. This is the entrance to Kostiantynivka, once a city of thousands, now just scorched earth. On the highway, a car is burning out, having been hit by an enemy drone, and another one speeds past it. The soldiers are rushing to their positions, and as soon as they enter the city, another drone comes flying at them.
Wait, maybe they need help. Please, stay alive for me now.
A bit further from the frontline towns, the roads are draped with long corridors of netting. This is what almost all the roads in Donetsk region look like now. Every day these tunnels are getting longer and longer. In some places, the occupiers have increased the number of drones tenfold. They attack moving vehicles, search for our equipment positions, set up ambushes right on the roads, and even target infantry. They force people to leave their homes and disrupt logistics for our troops, cutting off all routes between the frontline trenches and the rear. In the forest belt, hidden among the dense trees, paratroopers are concealing an American APC. I'm inside an American Striker APC. The guys from the 82nd Brigade consider this vehicle the coolest they've ever worked with. It's all thanks to its strong armor and maneuverability. This vehicle saved dozens of people in Kherson, and it was this vehicle that broke into a counterattack near Dobropilya, back when the Russians hadn't yet managed to bring in their strike drones. This vehicle has repeatedly carried infantry into assaults, and always successfully.
We went on the offensive, and as a result, the column was hit, and then after that, the drone struck. An anti-tank guided missile hit as well. 4 tires were blown out, but out of 8, we still drove out on 4.
It can fit up to 6 soldiers and safely deliver them to the drop-off point.
The 12.7 caliber machine gun is extremely accurate. The armor, it's very, very well protected.
The powerful chassis allows it to handle any off-road conditions of war.
The vehicle is maneuverable, fast, and excellent.
But this vehicle has already been hiding in the thickets for a month, because with the sheer number of Russian drones currently present in the Dobropilya-Pokrovsk direction, using it would be a one-time thing at best.
At present, the enemy does not allow us to use this equipment, so we are forced to rely on ATVs and buggies instead.
Or even cover dozens of kilometers on foot, as shown in this video published by the 25th Airborne Brigade. These are our pilots, who, after a firefight in Pokrovsk, are trying to evacuate a wounded comrade while moving under constant fire. While near Dobropilya, our defense forces are achieving successes and have even liberated the village of Suketske, in Pokrovsk the occupiers have brought in significant reinforcements, and Russian infantry is already being spotted deep within residential neighborhoods in the southwest, near the railway area. Our drones spotted a tricolor flag on the stele in Pokrovsk. Eventually, it was shot down, but this means that the road to Mirnohrad is already at risk of being blocked, and there is a whole agglomeration of defense forces there. It is becoming increasingly difficult for our infantry to hold their positions in the trenches near the village of Lysivka. A similar situation is unfolding in the village of Novokinomishne near Mirnohrad. Supplying food and ammunition to our soldiers, even by drones, is already bordering on the impossible, say the defense forces, and they are looking for ways to unblock their own. Yulia Kyrienko, Alexander Shian, TSN 1+1.
An enemy train was blown up in the Zaporizhzhia region, according to the main intelligence directorate. The explosion occurred on the railway near Tokmak, in the temporarily occupied territory. As a result of a successful operation by representatives of the Ukrainian resistance movement, a train loaded with military cargo was derailed. 1 locomotive, 3 railway platforms, and at least 9 freight cars of the enemy military train were damaged. Russian logistics in this area have been paralyzed. About 70 meters of railway track were damaged, up to 9. The number of people injured as a result of the Russian attack on the children's hospital in Kherson has increased. The occupiers struck it in the morning. Police specify that among the injured are 3 staff members and 4 children aged 8, 9, 15, and 16. The medical staff sustained injuries of varying severity, with 1 person in serious condition. The children suffered cuts as well as blast and shrapnel wounds. The building sustained significant damage, with offices and wards destroyed and equipment smashed. The functional diagnostics department was hit the hardest. After the shelling, not a single window in the building remained intact.
This morning, the facility was shelled. As a result of the shelling, the automated management system and ultrasound diagnostics departments were damaged. 4 people were injured, 1 child and 3 staff members. 1 person is in serious condition.
They will discuss the plan to end the war, which is being developed by the coalition of willing countries. The president of Ukraine has announced a meeting between representatives of our country and the European Union. According to Volodymyr Zelensky, it will take place on Friday or Saturday. Earlier this week, Volodymyr Zelensky said in an interview with Axios that Ukraine, together with its allies, would develop the peace plan within 7 to 10 days. The plan includes, in particular, strengthening our air defense and unblocking Russian assets to aid Ukraine. According to reports, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer proposed putting forward a peace initiative modeled after Trump's plan for the Gaza Strip. Last week, Zelensky discussed this with other European leaders as well. Although the situations in Ukraine and Gaza are different, the politician expressed a willingness to work on the plan and also noted that it should be brief, without too many details. At the same time, the president of Ukraine has serious doubts that the Kremlin leader, Putin, will accept any proposals from the coalition of the willing. Polish fighter jets intercepted a Russian aircraft over the Baltic Sea. The local armed forces command released a photo of the Il-20. According to the Poles, the aircraft did not violate Polish airspace. However, it entered international airspace to carry out a reconnaissance mission without filing a flight plan and with its transponder turned off. A pair of Polish MiG-29 fighter jets took off to intercept the Russian aircraft and escorted the Il-20 out. Germany plans to equip its brigade in Lithuania with thousands of kamikaze drones. This was reported by the British publication Financial Times. Sources of the publication said that German startups and the country's largest contractor, Rheinmetall, are receiving a share of a contract worth about 300 million euros. Under the agreement, 3 companies are obligated to supply up to 12,000 strike drones to the new German brigade stationed in Lithuania, with the aim of protecting NATO's eastern flank from Russia. Against the backdrop of Russian provocations, European countries are striving to strengthen their capabilities in drone warfare and to implement technologies both for defending against enemy drones and for using drones to strike enemy targets. He rattled his saber and boasted about imaginary successes on the front line. Vladimir Putin, against the backdrop of failed negotiations with the United States and Western-imposed sanctions, has for the second time in the past 2 weeks announced the testing of nuclear weapons. This time, it was allegedly about the Poseidon underwater drone with a nuclear engine, although there is no confirmation of this. But the Kremlin dictator spoke about it during a meeting with patients at the Mandryk Central Military Clinical Hospital. According to him, the device was able for the first time to begin operating from its carrier submarine and start up its nuclear power unit, which it uses for energy. And of course, there are no analogs. In addition to saber rattling, Putin began boasting before the military about illusory achievements on the front in Ukraine and the encirclement of Pokrovsk, addressing the Ukrainian authorities. In recent weeks, the Russian leader has regularly resorted to the tactic of making threats. Just last week, Russia conducted a test of a cruise missile with a nuclear power unit called Burevestnik. Clearly, such a show of force was aimed at an international audience, particularly the United States, with whom recent talks in Budapest collapsed, and who, together with the EU, have imposed some of the most severe energy sanctions that will hit the Kremlin's oil market, the main source powering their war machine. Donald Trump, responding to such provocations from Putin, reminded him of America's powerful weaponry and advised the Russian leader to focus on ending the war in Ukraine instead of testing missiles.